Okay guys, welcome back. So in the last video and the video before that, I talked about the relationship of G as to how the value of G changes when the density of the planet changes and when the radius of some planet is increased or decreased, and when the distance between a planet and an object changes. So G is actually as I mentioned in the last video. So if I have not watched that video, I invite you to watch that video and come back, because this is a series of lectures on gravitation, and as I discussed in the series of lectures, my lectures on mechanics, this is also a series of lectures on gravitation. So one video will be the next video, the second video will be the success of the first video. So it will be actually a flow, right? Actually a flow from the first video to second and the second video to the third. So to continue the flow, you need to understand the concepts in the previous videos in order to make a clear differentiation and a clear understanding of the concepts in the next three videos. So I invite you to watch those two videos and come back here. So as I mentioned, G is actually directly proportional to the density of the planet, and it's also directly proportional to the radius of the planet, but it is inversely proportional to the distance between the planet and a certain object. Alright, so that is the conclusion that we derived from the two objects. So what it actually happens, so in this video I will be talking about a more generalized concept. Now what happens, now in the videos, in the last two videos I explained to you about the concept when an object is on the planet, right? On the planet means it's just touching that, right? In a concept like this, right? When the object is just touching here. Now these two objects are at some point of contact here, right? So what actually happens with a situation like this, right? When an object is somewhat height, it is somewhat above this object, and when an object is inside this object. Now for a planet like the Earth and the other planets, you can simply do that, but for two objects you can do, we can make a hole or something like that, and you can insert that object and find the gravitational acceleration about that object. So in this video I'll be talking about the variation of gravitational acceleration with height and depth. Alright, so variation of acceleration with height I'll be talking first. So if I take an object like this, whose mass is capital M, and another mass whose mass is simple m, and the distance between these two objects as h. Now the distance is this distance h, this distance is h, right? This distance is h, and the radius of this object to be r, so the actual distance between these two objects, the distance from the mass of the center of mass the center of mass this object to this object is r plus h. So this is r plus h, right? So what is the value of G when an object is at a distance or at a height of h above this planet? Alright, so what we found here was if an object the distance between these two objects be simple r, distance between these two objects will be simple r, we found that G is equal to the capital value of G, or the universal gravitational constant, times the mass of the large object divided by the square of the distance between the two objects, right? So G is equal to G times m divided by r square. So r will be, I took r as the distance between the center of mass of the large object to that of the small object. So that is we found here that it is equal to r plus h. So simple r will be equal to r plus h. Simple r will be equal to r plus h. So what actually happens, you can substitute the value of simple r we found here to this equation, and we can find another relationship. So G is actually equal to Gm. Now r is equal to simple r plus h. So this is equal to r plus h whole thing square. That's simple, right? So G is equal to Gm plus r plus h whole square, right? So what it actually happens is that when you increase the height, r plus h increases, so the gravity decreases, because the universal gravitational constant is a constant. If you keep the mass of this object constant, so gm will be a constant, and g will be inversely proportional to the square of the value of r plus h. So g is inversely proportional to r plus h squared. So the radius, if you keep the radius of this object to be the radius of the large object to be constant and the mass to be constant, r will be a constant, but it will be changing if you drag this object to another height, to a larger height. See, if you drag this object to a larger height, say h is initially 10 meters, and if you drag this object to a distance of 100 meters, the value of h will increase, so r plus h will increase, so r plus h squared will be increased, but the value of g will decrease. So to get the minimum g, you will need the maximum height. So that is what is actually experienced when you are in the concept, the basis of the concept of weightless and the other concepts, which I will be talking in another video. So this is actually the relationship when an object is at a distance of h above some planet. So now what actually happens when an object is inside a planet? So when an object is inside a planet, we can take the same thing, but we have to find the value of this one. So the mass will be the constant, mass will be a constant, g will be a constant, only this value will be changing. So we have to find that value. So let's take an example like this. I'll take an object like this, large object, right? And if I take this object to be like this, take this object to be like this, so that the two center of masses coincide each other. So the two center of masses, the mass of this object, mass of the small object, the center of mass of this object is here, and that should coincide with the center of mass of the large object. So that the area in some part, say area in this part, area in this part will be equal to the area in another part, right? So that actually what actually happens is that the distance between any point on the small surface and any point in the large surface, which is this distance is the same at any point, right? So this distance will be equal, and this distance will be equal, this distance will be equal, like that, right? So and I'll take both this object to be spheres, right? Alright. So that's the concept. Now if I take this distance between these two objects to be d, if I take this distance to be d, simple d, and the radius of the large object to be r, this distance is r, right? So what it actually happens is that this radius is now r minus d, right? R minus d. So what is actually happening is that this is although you see that this radius, right? This point is the center of mass of the small object. It is also, because it is coinciding, it is also the center of mass of the large object. So the distance between the large object's center to the circumference or the surface, right? Surface of the small object is now r minus d, because it's the same situation here we described here. The distance between the center of mass to the surface or the circumference of this large object, small object, right? So that distance is now actually equal to the radius of the small object. So that is equal to r minus d. So r is equal, simple r is now equal r minus d, right? So from the last equation, from the equation that we derived in the second video of the series of videos on gravity, we can say that g is equal to gm by r square. So r square is now r minus d square, right? R minus d square. So for the first part of this video, we found that g is actually equal to gm divided by r plus h square, which in which m is the mass of the large object, r is the radius of the large object, and h is the distance between the center of mass and the surface of the small object. So in this part of this video, the second part of this video, we found that g is equal to gm by r minus d square. So m is the mass of the large object, r is the radius of the large object, and d is the distance between the large object and the circumference or the surface of the small object. Alright. So g is equal to gm minus r minus gm divided by r minus d square. So what is important in this relationship is that now if you increase the value of d, if you increase the value of d, r minus d will decrease. So if r minus d decreases, r minus d squared will decrease. So the value of g will increase, because g is, if you keep the mass constant, gm will be a constant. So g is inversely proportional to r minus d squared. So if you increase d, r minus d squared will decrease, so the value of g increases. So to get the minimum value of g, you have to take the minimum value of d. So the minimum value of d will be a position so that the center of mass of the small object will coincide with the center of mass of the large object, and the volume of the small object is essentially concentrated to the center of mass of the large object, so that d will be minimum. So to make d minimum, you have to take this object to be coincide with the center of mass will coincide with this object, but the surface of this object will coincide with the surface of the large object. Right? So d will be minimum like that. So to make d maximum, if you keep the value of d maximum, you will get the value of g maximum here. So when the d is maximum, what it actually happens is that the surface of this object will coincide not only with the center of mass of the large object, but also with the center of mass of the small object, so that the mass is very much concentrated to the center of mass of the large object. So at d maximum, you will experience the maximum value of g, and at d minimum, you will experience the minimum value of g. So that is how the value of g changes when an object is inside another object and the distance is changed, keeping the mass and the density of the large object constant. So what it actually happens is g is equal to g by r minus d square. So now for this object, for this system, we could find a relationship between the density of this object and the gravitational acceleration, because this object is somewhat above this object. Now in the last videos, if you have not watched those videos, I again say to watch those videos and come back here. In the last videos, what we found was that when an object is like this, at some point of contact, we can find a relationship that g is equal to 4 by 3 times 5 times simple g, right? The gravitational acceleration is equal to the product of 4 by 3 5 g, r and rho, right? So r is actually the radius of the large object and rho is the density of the large object. So what we found was that the gravitational acceleration is directly proportional to the density of the large object and to the radius of the large object. So we can find a similar relationship here, but in the first part of this video we can find that because the object was at some height above this surface, but in this instance the object is inside this surface, so we can find a simple relationship as we found to the relationship in the previous video. So what it actually happens now, in order to take a relationship, what we did was that we found the value of m using rho equals mv, rho equals m by v, right? Rho equals m by v. So what we actually found was that we found the mass of this object using the cross multiplication of rho and v. So m is equal to rho v, but the value of m, now the value of m is not equal to the mass of this object. This is not equal to the mass of this object, because the small object is inside the large object. Now in the previous video, the previous derivation of the previous calculation, the previous deduction, what we found was that the mass of this object, the smaller mass is on the larger mass. The smaller mass is on the larger mass, but in this case the smaller mass is inside the larger mass. So what it actually happens is that the value of m is not the value of the large object, but the value of m is now the value of the small object. So what we have to find is the value of the mass of the small object. Alright, so if you take the mass to be concentrated to the center, right, we can say that the mass is actually due to this depth, right, so that we can prove that, I will not prove, but we can prove that. So if you can take that this to be the mass to be m, I will say m dash is equal to rho times v. M dash is equal to rho times v. So I'll take v to be, now I'll take this object to be a sphere, so it will, the volume will be 4 by 3 times 5 times the cube of the radius. Alright, so the radius is actually now the value of r minus d, because we found the radius of this object to be r minus d. So we can substitute the value here and find a value for m dash. So m dash is equal to the density of this object, rho times 4 by 3 times 5 r minus d cube, right? 4 by 3 times 5 times r by d cube. So this value is actually equal to the volume of this object times its density is equal to the mass of this object. So we can substitute that here. So G is equal to G times, now the mass of this object is m dash, we found m dash here, we can substitute that value here. So that is rho times 4 by 3 times 5 times r minus d cube whole thing divided by r minus d square, right? R minus d square, assuming that r is not equal to d, so that these two objects will not coincide, right? So actually if r is equal to d, what actually happens is that the small object will be identical to the large object, so that the center of mass is already coinciding. And if r is equal to d, the surfaces of the circumference of these two objects will also be coinciding. So actually the small object is the same as the large object in every aspect. So we'll assume that that is not happening. So if r is not equal to d, r minus d is not equal to 0. So we can cancel r minus d squared here, and 1 r minus d will be remaining here. So G is equal to G times rho times 4 by 3 times 5 r minus d. So this is the relationship we can generate here. G is equal to G times rho times 4 by 3 times 5 times r minus d. So what actually happen is that if you keep the density of this mass to be constant, when you have the minimum, when you have d minimum, when d is minimum, r minus d is maximum, right? When d is minimum, r minus d is maximum. So if you keep the density of this object to be constant, the value of G is directly proportional to r minus d, right? Value of G to be proportional to r minus d. So if you keep this constant, again the value of G will be directly proportional to the value of density. So here also we can find the same relationship. So G is directly proportional to rho and G is directly proportional to r minus d. So these are the two relationships we can find here. So when D is maximum, minus D will be minimum. So r minus D will be minimum. So G will be minimum. So to take maximum G, you need the minimum value of D. So the minimum value of D is so that the smaller mass will coincide with the larger mass. So that is the instance in which we will get the maximum value for G. And when it is concentrated to the center, you can take from this equation that G is minimum. Alright, so there is the relationship between now as to what happens when an object is somewhat at a height above the surface and when an object is embedded inside the large object which is at some depth, right? So, and we found in this video another relationship as to how the density and the radius of an object in which an object is embedded in the large object plays an important role in finding the value of G. So in the next video I will be talking about as to how the value of G changes, right? As to how the value of G changes inside the Earth and why the value of G changes. And I hope that you gathered some information from this video, and thanks for watching this video, and see you then.